Malo Opito, I'm Tawalofa Totua, PMN's political reporter. Welcome to Bread and Butter Chats, where we talk about the bread and butter issues in politics.
My name's Brooke Pao Stanley. I'm running as an independent candidate in the Māngere seat for this year's general election. I'm an Indonesian woman first, and then an Indonesian mama to my goat daughter Talia Lufa. But I'm also an auntie to many other goat cuties. I'm one of 6 siblings to beautiful Niuean and Samoan parents, Joe Stanley and Evelyn Pao. We were raised in East Auckland, although we did live in Japan for a little bit. My current mahi at the moment is with Auckland Action Against Poverty, and then we also campaign alongside other groups to ensure the government changes the laws so that we have a poverty-free NZ. I bought in peanut butter.
Yo.
It just reminds me of my dad, like peanut butter sandwiches with like real butter and nice bread.
What's the bread and butter issues you think Pacific voters are most concerned about, and how will you address those if you get into Parliament?
I think locally in Māngere it's about having enough to be secure. Big bread and butter issue that people aren't talking about is actually climate change. And Māngere was really impacted by the floods earlier on in the year. I think for me it's around pushing for a universal services model. So that essentially just means making things free. There are ways in which we can do that. We can literally tax wealth and look at other taxes in that space, that don't fall on people.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we pulled $18 billion out for like the COVID wage subsidy to like, for a rainy day. So I'm like, we've got the money actually, and we're all clever enough if we work together. We come from cultures that were heavily connected to nature and the oceans, and looking at nature for our models actually of existing and being in connection with her is really, really important.
Who do you consider to be your why?
I just want to shout out like my mum and dad, especially my mum. Like I think she really sewed into us the idea of like love and sharing and making sure that we look out for each other, which I think I took to level 1 billion. I just want to shout out my whole family basically, and
do it.
Yeah, like people who are trying their best despite being like doubt the worst. I think for me that's massive.
How are you feeling about your upcoming election race and your opponents?
Oh, I feel all good, say. I'm not like, I come from a really competitive family. Yeah, I don't know, I'm not really into that. I think because it reminds me too much of like the system and how the system kind of forces us to compete against each other for things. And I feel like, just gonna try my best and see how it goes. Like, but it's been fun. Like, it's been nice to engage in this space as an independent and being able to remain strong to like who I am, which I connect to like the kaupapa. That's important that we try and show up as much as we can as like who we are.